everyone doing tonight? As promised, I'm making my second video. For those of you just joined, my name is David Murphy, and I am the lead investigator and founder of Paranormal Legacies Investigation. Um, Today's video is going to be about uh, games you shouldn't be playing that involve the paranormal. Uh, the moral of this is going to be you shouldn't be playing any of these games. Um, the risk of it is, you know, whether you believe they're real or not, or whatever it being, the overall risk, it doesn't seem like it should be a good idea. It's kind of like you don't go playing with fire, you don't go stand in front of somebody shooting a gun. It's along the same lines. Now I'll explain why as we go on. But one of the first ones I want to talk about is one that a lot of people end up taking for granted, and I don't know why they would even allow this to be sold in toy aisles and toy stores, and that's the Ouija board. The Ouija board is definitely a real thing. It's not something you should be messing with. I mean, it can really mess up your life, especially if you're just playing with it, you don't know what you're doing, and you do come across something, and it invades your world, it invades your life. A perfect example of this is there is a story of a girl who messed with the Ouija board, and she came across a demon. There is a demon that is well known, associated with Ouija board, and it goes by Zozo. Now, while messing with this Ouija board, she came across Zozo, and Zozo ended up possessing her. She's not possessed anymore, but rumor has it is that she's in a Vatican church. Not, I don't think she's in the Vatican, but she's in a Vatican church, and she cannot leave, like, ever, because whatever happened with the session with Ouija board, it's like Zozo's waiting outside the door for her. And demons, they're not to be. You don't mess around with demons. They're nothing to be trifled with. That's a serious thing. People are like, well, you're a paranormal hunter. Yeah, I go for ghosts, not demons. There's a big difference. The Bible even says there's a difference between spirits and demons. There are demons that can become familiar spirits, which they take on a form of, whatever it is that they come across. But other than that, I strongly advise not to mess with the Ouija board. My own team is not even allowed to have Ouija boards. If they do, they're kicked off and they're not allowed around the area. Another game. This one I'm not too sure about. There's a lot of interesting fan-made videos about it. There's a lot of so-called real videos about it. There's not anything that to prove or even disprove it. Well, I guess there are some videos to disprove it and some videos to prove it, but there's nothing concrete. It's the Hooded Man ritual, and the way that this one works is, I guess you forgive me for a second. Basically, what you're going to do is, like at midnight, you look up the instructions. It gives you a phone number. You're supposed to call the phone number, but you don't just call from any regular phone. You got to call from a dial, one of the old dial phones. You put in the phone number, and you set your clock for 3:33, I believe it is. And then when you wake up, there's supposed to be a car waiting for you, and in the driver's seat is a hooded man. And then you're supposed to be able to get into the car. You don't say anything to anybody, even if there's another person in there with you. You don't say nothing. And if you get in the car with this hooded man, he supposedly drives you around into the dark dimension, which is said to be an exact mirror of ours. Just the sun never, uh, it's never there. It's always dark. Uh, there's other games I will be mentioning along the way that involve with the same thing. Regardless how this game is, like I said, I don't know if it's real or not. I really don't think it is, but I also don't think it's risk worth the try for it. If you think it is, by all means, Google it, YouTube it. You can find all the rules for it and try it yourself. It's not real cool. I just don't think it's worth the risk to try to do it. Another one, um, this one I think it could be real, but once again, it's one of those things. There's really no concrete um, proof to disprove it or prove it. Is a Three Kings ritual. Uh, this one is supposed to be you sit in a chair and you have two other chairs off to the side of you, just enough into your peripheral vision. You can't look at them. And you're supposed to have a candle and a fan, which that doesn't make sense because that would just blow the candle out. But anyways, you're supposed to have this stuff here and 3 a.m. exactly 3 a.m. You light the candle and you stare forward. Uh, don't look to the side, so you're supposed to stare forward. Most you can look up to your side is your peripheral. And supposedly, oh yeah, you gotta have mirrors too. You gotta have two mirrors off to the side of you as well too, in the chairs. Uh, but as you sit there, you're supposed to be able to talk to yourself from two different dimensions, because you'll be sitting in what's called the king chair. To the right of you is the queen chair, and the left of you is the I want to say the joker's chair. Uh, Once again, this kind of falls in line with the Ouija board in an aspect of this could open up something to let other things through. And once again, I don't think it's worth the risk to find out. Uh, Also on the list, another one I do think is real. There's a little bit more, I don't want to say proof, but a little bit more interesting details, and that's the elevator game. Now, this one, there's a series of buttons you push, and if you push these buttons, eventually, before you get done with it, a woman's going to come onto the elevator with you. Doesn't matter what she says to you, you don't look at her and you don't speak to her. One final button you're going to push is the first floor button, and it's going to, instead of taking you to the first floor, it's going to take you to the top floor. You need to actually, also the building you're in that has the elevator, you need to have at least 10 floors because it's going to take you to the 10th floor. At that time, you have the choice to get off. Now, by this time, the woman on the elevator, she's going to ask you, what are you doing? Still don't talk to her, don't look at her. At that point in time, you have the choice to get off the elevator and walk around. And if this is successful, you will be in the dark world. Supposedly in this world, if you look out the window, you can see a red burning cross off in the distance. That's the only light there is in the dark world. Otherwise, it's all dark and gloomy and all that stuff that's supposed to be said. Now, for obvious reasons, you shouldn't play it. The reason why I feel that this could be real is I used to run a page on my former Facebook I had before it got hacked. That was a like a criminal investigation type deal thing, and I was studying the case of Elisa Lam. A lot of you might know it. And what's interesting is I have the actual coroner's report. In that report, you'll see, you can download it, and you'll see why there was so much debate on was it really suicide, was she murdered, and stuff like that. And I honestly didn't believe she was murdered. Um, and in a way, I guess she was. Uh, if my theory I have, it's not even really a theory, just a thought, is that it's believed that, and if you watch the way she's pushing the buttons, kind of uh, does support that because there's a video of her pushing the buttons, and a lot of strange things are going on in this video. The elevator door is staying open for way longer than it should, and it looks like she's looking at somebody, trying to talk to somebody, whatever, and we don't see anybody else. And the only time the door is closed after like a 3 or 4 minute process is when she backs out of view. Uh, and then, of course, a few weeks later, they find her in the water tank at the Cecil Hotel, uh, clothes folded neatly, and her in a water tank, which would have been way too heavy for her to lift, especially since you had firefighters that felt it was easier to cut a hole in the side of the water tank to get her out rather than lifting the lid to get her out. Uh, that right there, like I always thought was really strange because, I figured firefighters are extremely strong people. I don't ever recall seeing a firefighter that had no strength. And for a bunch of grown men that are firefighters that are, have to have a strength. They have to be strong. And this is actually like one of the requirements to sit there and say it's easier to cut a hole in the side of the tank than to get her out through the lid. And it wasn't like she was that far down. They could have easily, but they were saying that the lid was pretty heavy. How did she get in there? And I always thought maybe hotel guests, or not guests, employees at the time had something to do with it. Maybe she got involved with the wrong people, like mafia or cartel or something like that, or maybe whatever the reason was. Like I was trying to come up with how she even got up there because I come back to employees because only employees had access to the water tanks to the stairwell, and the more I started looking at it and how she was pushing buttons, I'm wondering if it wasn't the elevator game and nobody's just wanting to look at that. Now, with that being said about the elevator game, whether that is what happened to Lisa or not, uh, we don't know. Maybe she did find a way to get up there, and maybe she really did kill herself. It's an unsolved case that somebody slapped suicide on sticker to move on. But regardless, if it was because of this elevator game, then that should be reason enough not to play this game. If you are going to play this game, please follow the rules exactly the way they were said to be followed. But like I said, as usual, I don't think the risk is worth it. Another game that should not be played is Charlie Charlie. This falls under the same exact guidelines as the Ouija board. Only difference is you take a piece of paper, you draw a cross, and in kitty corners across from each other, you put yes and no. And suppose you're supposed to say Charlie Charlie. Excuse me, guys. Charlie Charlie, do you want to play? And then if you're supposed to have these pencils, and they're supposed to balance perfectly on each other so they can turn. And if it turns to yes, you continue asking more questions. If it turns to no, you're supposed to stop immediately. I feel like this is just another variation of the Ouija board. Once you open that door, anything and everything can come through. It's not worth it, guys. It's not. And here's the thing, too. If anybody out there has messed with the Ouija board, has played around with the game Charlie Charlie, and you're experiencing something bad, I'm not saying I won't help you. I will get you help. If you need help, contact me. Tell me. whatever your experience was. I'm not saying I won't help you. What I'm saying is we don't investigate that. If you're having that kind of issues, uh, we, we, someone from Paranormal Legacies will help you find the help that you need to deal with it. Uh, Ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, we're not, no matter what they say, we're not qualified and we're not ordained to deal with demonic activity. And any of them that say that they are, I'd be very, very cautious of that statement. Let's see. There's a few of them. Hide and seek by yourself. Uh, yeah, you hear that? You're like, what the hell? Um, First off, I'm going to share with you. I got a phobia of dolls as is, anyways. And this tells you to take a stuffed doll, cut it open, take all the fluff out, put rice inside it, stitch it back up with red yarn, um, leave a knife next to it, and then start the game of hide and seek. Where exactly do you want me to begin on this? Everything about this is giant red flags saying not to play it. I am urging you not to play this game. If you do, um, make sure that it doesn't find you. You find it. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, make sure you follow the instructions. There's instructions on how to complete the game. There's like a time limit and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. Don't play the game. Just don't play it. Don't play any of these games. It's not worth it. And last but not least, the closet game. Once again, undecided, not sure if it's real or not. Don't want to find out if it's real. A closet game. You're supposed to get in a closet with a match. And you're supposed to light the match. Yeah, I don't know if you're supposed to ask something or what. But supposedly if you have this match and as soon as it goes out or whatever it says, I don't know. I heard about this game once. And if it says if the match goes out, you got so much time to get out before you get drugged to hell. Hell doesn't sound like a very good destination. I'm not talking about Hell Mission. I'm talking about, you know, burning like a fire, 7 stages of hell. Not worth it, guys. Definitely not worth it. That's my list of games right there. You know, like I said, what do you believe they are or not? That's complete. Just like the paranormal, it's completely up to y'all. The only ones, like I said, are real for sure. That I will say are real. Ouija board and Charlie. Please, if anything, if you any of these games you do not play, please don't play either one of those games. I know there's probably others, and sooner or later I will make a follow-up video. But until then, like I said, don't play these games. Stay safe. Comment on this video. Leave me a like. Tell me what you want to hear. Give me ideas for next video. Send me links. Send me, whatever. What do you guys want me to talk about? Let me know. Send me a message. Leave me something down below. And this is all going on to the Facebook page for right now. As soon as I figure out how to get up on YouTube, guys, I will. Right now, YouTube's fighting me. I don't know why, but as soon as I can figure it out, it gets on there. Until then, y'all stay safe. I hope to see y'all next time, and I hope y'all bring in new people. The more people, the merrier. The more we can learn, the more we can enjoy, the more we can entertain, the better. As far as the new year goes, I hope you all have a wonderful new year. Hope 2020 goes well for you. And with that being said, y'all have a good night.